dear students. So now in session 4 we will discuss about the regional variation of population. Is it clear? So in our last session, that was session number 3, we have already discussed about the factors which are responsible for growth of population, the causes that are created for growing population, and now in session 4 we will discuss the regional variation of population. Okay, now just there will be a very confusion among all of you that what do you understand by now regional variation. Before starting all these points, so first of all I just want to clear all of you that regional variation. Region means what? What do you understand by now region? Region means a charting area or space. A charting area or space of homogeneous type or heterogeneous type. Okay, we will not include this homogeneous or heterogeneous because it will become very lengthy way. So in a short term we can say that region are charting area or space of some definite criteria. It may be natural or definite criterion of nature, like that. Okay, region is what a charting area of space of some definite criterion of nature. That means it can be some, that it will a region can be classified on the basis of some kind of natural criteria, such as the physical factors, such as that topography, again the landforms, the natural vegetations, the climate. All these are some kind of the physical factors. Depending on that physical factors, that criterions of that particular nature, we can divide the entire region, means and the whole of the earth, into some smaller regions. The entire earth we can divide into some smaller regions. Okay, for example, equatorial region. Now equatorial region, what do you mean by equatorial region? Equatorial region means what? The region which experience the equatorial type of climate. Is it clear? Now equatorial type of climate, I think all you have we have discussed in chapter 1. Yes, that the types of climate. Equatorial type of climate means what? That will be average annual rainfall will be more than 300 centimeter and the temperature will also very high. Suppose that more than 37 degree of Celsius. Is it clear? So high temperature, high rainfall results to what? Equatorial type of climate. So the region that lies between 10 degree north and the 10 degree south, that means the 0 degree equator, and the entire region is known as what? Equatorial region. Is it clear? So on that basis, on the criteria of that nature, we divide that entire world, our entire globe, into these different type of regions. Equatorial regions, then we can say monsoonal type of regions or deciduous type of forest, and this that's what a monsoon type of region also, which experience the monsoon type of wind. And we can again further classify it into temperate region, where the temperature is quite not very high, not very low, and tropical regions. Tropical means what? Nearby the tropics, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Polar regions, where there is extremely cold in North Pole region, that is what? Arctic region. In the South Pole region, in the 90 degrees south, that is what? Antarctic region. All we can divide on that some particular natural criterion. Is it clear? Now this regional variation is what? This region wise we can say the variation of population. Is it clear? Such as for example, we can take in very harsh climate in desert type of region, where there are full of desert, that extreme amount of temperatures, very harsh climate. We don't find any kind of modern modes for livelihood and scarcity of water. In that particular place, the people don't used to reside. Will you go there to reside in that particular place, where you will find full of sand, full of storm, dust storm, and no rainfall, very harsh climate, extreme amount of temperature. There you can't just imagine, you know, that a single drop of water. Will you go to there to survive? Obviously not, isn't it? So this is what, based on that particular physical factors, people, we can say that people usually lives in that natural in that natural region where they will find some kind of, you know, very easy mode of life. Because all we want, all we the human being, we want very easy going life. We don't want to struggle, we don't want to, you know, that want to come out from our comfort zone, isn't it? So all we used to go and to reside there where we will find very easy mode of life. There will be high standard of living, where we will get all the facilities, all the ample, you know, that opportunities for our betterment of life. So that's why this variation has been seen in the entire world. Variation means what? Not equally distributed. Now distributed word already we have discussed in our first session, that was in the audio clip, that scattering there, here and there, spreading unevenly. We don't find population in a particular definite region, yet we find scattering here and there. Suppose if some, we can take some example in Assam. So in the hilly areas, obviously people here, you know, you will find less amount of people comparing to this plain areas. People usually want to reside in plain areas but not in the hill areas. Why? Because the life in the hilly areas is quite much more challenging. It's quite a little bit of tough they used to face. Only the indigenous people of the hilly areas, only the local native people, the tribal peoples of the hilly areas, they only used to, you know, they are quite familiar with that particular mountainous type of, you know, that surroundings, that climate. But this people basically from the plain areas, they want to live in the plain areas only. Sometimes they will visit to the hilly areas only for recreational activities, but they don't used to prefer to live permanently in that hilly areas. Is it clear? So this is where the variation, we find lots of variation regarding the distribution of population in the world. So there are much more important factors which are quite responsible for such kind of variation of population over the surface of the earth or in the world. So first point is what? Some kind of the physical factors. As I have already told you, this region quite resembles an area or space of some particular natural criterion. So physical factors is what? The point number, I can say that 1. So here I have written Roman number 1, physical factors. All you just note down in your copies. So Roman number 1, physical factors. These are what? Regional variation of population. These are the causes of variation of population. So now point number 1. So numerical point number 1, I have written here river valleys. Yes, river valleys. That means plain areas where we will get lots of facilities for our river valleys. So people usually prefer to live in river valleys. Why? Okay, again I will go to some very past years. Now I will move back to our days of civilization. So have you remembered that what was the first civilization on the earth? Can you name some of the very important civilization that took place on the surface of the earth, ancient civilization? And obviously I think you have remembered, you have got in your history part also, Indus Valley civilization. From that Indus Valley civilization, we now the Indian culture, we Indians used to, we used to civilized. Next, so this Indus Valley civilization on the bank of the river Indus. Next, Chinese civilization, Mesopotamian civilization. Then we can say that Egyptian civilization on the bank of the famous river Nile, and that was very famous. All this kind of civilization, ancient civilization. So just think, all the human used to be civilized where? On the river valley areas. Now what are river valley areas? All you know, the side of the river, the bank of the river. That means what? The plain area. Why? Because water is the main source of livelihood. Without water, we can't think even a single day, isn't it? Like what water is life, all you know. Like water is precious, and water is a very valuable resource. Though in the earth there is 71% of water, yet the pure drinking water still we lacks, isn't it? It is quite lacking of pure drinking water. That's why we find water scarcity. Now we are quite facing some kind of very problems due to the scarcity of proper drinking water. Is it? Okay. So this river valley areas, people high population we can see here. In particularly the river valley areas we can see high population. Why? Because availability of water resources. At the same time, for water we need for domestic purpose, for our agricultural purpose, for our industrial purpose also. All for this purpose we need waters, and that's why it's a quite people used to find in a very easy way. So the people used to live beside the river valleys, and the most populous river valleys of India are what? The Indo-Gangetic and the Brahmaputra river valley. The maximum, the most populous state of India we can find in the river banks of Indus, because now and what is Brahmaputra and Ganga. Though the major portion of Indus now it flows in Pakistan, then also the Indus, Ganga and this word Brahmaputra, it forms the northern plain area, which is a river valley area, and we find the most populous state of India in these river valley areas. Is it clear? I am giving some one example of India, and we can take some more examples of the whole world. So next point is what? Soil types. Number 2 point, another 2 points is what? Soil types. Yes, this is also very important. Now soil types. Soil types means what? Okay. So why need these soil types? Because due to agriculture purpose, isn't it? So initially, when the people used to get civilized, so they only depend on they usually depend on agriculture, on this what productive things in cultivation purpose, not in any kind of industrial. Now this industrialization came very long after back. So initially the people used to, when the people used to live in these river valley areas, they used to find the soil types. They are very suitable soil types which are quite beneficial for the agriculture purposes. Now the alluvial soil, there are lots of varieties in the soil types. So there is a very important is what? Alluvial soil. Alluvial soil type. Now what is the alluvial soil type? This alluvial soil type is quite very important for the cultivation purpose, because it is one of the most important soil type, and it has lots. It is quite famous for its fertility. So it can be found only in floodplain areas. Now what floodplain? Floodplain is what? The plain area which is created due to the flood is known as what? Floodplain. And where we can find that floodplain? Only in the river valley areas on the banks of the rivers. You see, when the flood will carry sediments, they will deposit on the banks of the river, and obviously the flood will that move on. It will not stay there for the whole year. At once they will get evaporated, they will flow to another place, but the deposited sediments that will mixer to the bank of the river. As a result, it will create the alluvial type of soil, which is very fertile soil and very good for the cultivation purpose. Is it clear? So people always settle in the river valley areas where they can find the alluvial soil, which is quite good for the cultivation purposes. And depending on the soil types also, people will reside from one place to another, and they will always prefer this river valley areas where they will find this very good type of soils. Is it clear now? So next you can say the climate. Climate is also one of the very important factor, which is for the regional variation of the people. Climate. So why climate is very important? So now this climate. So what type of climate we the Indian people we experience? We experience the monsoon type of climate, or it can be said as tropical monsoon type of climate, because the Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country, through the Madhya Pradesh, through that Gujarat area, and divided the entire country into two equators. Is it clear? And this tropical monsoon, due to this tropical monsoon, this climate is quite very much suitable for the cultivation purpose, and that's why people of India quite usually prefer to engage themselves in the agricultural sector. And moreover, suppose if we can take some examples, suppose desert type of climate and the mountainous type of climate and the polar type of climate, as I already told you, that people don't used to reside in that harsh type of climates, isn't it? So what happened that in the extreme, that very cold region also people can't survive there very smoothly. Only the local people, suppose the Eskimos, you have heard about the Eskimos also. In that polar areas, in the tundra areas, in the Arctic and the Antarctic circle, only the Eskimos can be found, isn't it? That because they only can survive there, but we can't go and we can't survive there. We can't do there any kind of cultivation purpose due to the climatic conditions. And at the same time, in the desert type of climate also, we can't do any kind of paddy cultivation or that wheat cultivation in Thar desert or in the Sahara desert, isn't it? So these are quite responsible for this regional variation of population. So next point we will say availability of water. This is very important point. So now point number 4 is what? Availability of water. So as I told you, the river valley areas are quite important for the human civilizations. At the same time, why? Because due to only the availability of water. Now where we will find that a good supply of water, in that place only we will go and we will reside. People always facilitate in that part where they will find all these sorts of things. So in places where the availability of water is more, the population will be more, and at the same time where the availability of water is less, so people will be becomes very much more less fascinated towards that particular area. So this is what, and next number 5th point we will see. So availability of mineral resources. Last but not the least point, that is point number 5, availability of mineral resources. So this is also yet another very important factor which is quite responsible for the regional variation of population. Availability of resources. Okay, fine. So what do you mean by now resources? Resources can be said anything which is quite beneficial, or it has some kind of utility for human being. Yes. So resources can be divided into nature resources, at the same time man-made resources. Now what are nature resources? Nature resources such as land, air, water and mineral resources, all these are what? Nature resources. And what are man-made resources? The artificial resources, the everything that can be created by or that are developed by human beings. So this availability of resources means what? Where in that particular place where we will find all these kind of resources, in that place we can find high population growth. In entire world we don't find the same amount of nature resources in the same amount, isn't it? So where we will find the availability of land, the availability of drinking water and the availability of very good air, only there only we will go and reside. At the same time the availability of mineral resources also, because minerals are a part and parcel of our life. Without minerals we can't think a single day, isn't it? Because for example we can say coal, petroleum, and if there will be scarcity of crude oil, scarcity of petroleum, all you know that all the economy of the country or economy of a region will be stopped. And the minerals are quite essential, raw materials which are quite needed for a smooth running of an industry, whatever industry it may be, but minerals are quite necessary for the smooth functioning or the smooth running of an industry. And you see, the people will reside in that places where they will find these sorts of resources. Is it clear? So we find the uneven distribution of population on the world, or regional variation from one region to another region. We can find very uneven distribution of population. So these are quite very important factors of physical factors. Now don't be confused, these are the sub-points of physical factors. Okay, physical factors we have learned about all these things. Is it clear? Now we will proceed to cultural factors. So what are the cultural factors which are responsible for this variation of population on the globe? So Roman number 2 point, that is cultural factors. Cultural factors. So first of all, again numerical number 1, it's transport and communication. One of the very important point, transport and communication. As already we have discussed that this transport and communication is quite very essential mode for the this variation of populations. You see, people, again I am saying the same thing as we have already discussed, that people are quite much more facilitated to that particular area where the transport and communication facilities are quite very easy, isn't it? There is quite easy mode of transport and communication. We can travel very easily from one place to another. We can go to our destination point from our that point of origin. So that's why the people will much more facilitate to the region where there is quite ample the opportunities of better transport and communication. So these are some kind of that cultural factors which are quite responsible for the population growth of and distribution, which are quite responsible for the regional variation of population on the entire globe. Is it clear? So next point we will see urbanization, that will be numerical number 2, urbanization. So what do you understand by the term urbanization? So let us discuss what is urbanization. So from that urban, the word urban, this urbanization. So urbanization is the process of developing a area from rural area to an urban area. This process is known as urbanization. Is it clear? For example, we can say, suppose our city, we can say the city of Guwahati, we can say that Delhi city, the metropolitan cities, the Chennai, Kolkata, all these are what as a very good example of urbanization. That means what? The transforming of a rural area into an urban area. This process is known as what? Urbanization, and where we can get all the urban facilities. Now what are urban facilities? Basically we can development of in trade and commerce, in the business sector, in the tertiary sectors such as in transport and communication sectors, again in the business also, as I told you, service sectors, again development in overall trade and commerce. So this process is known as what? Urbanization. And often people used to get facility to the urban areas. Why? Because they will get lots of and ample of job opportunities there, they will get employment opportunities there, they will get better standard of living, education facilities, health facilities, so very well, very smooth, easy life they can get in their urban areas. So we can say the variation in population in the entire world, where the people get the people will select the particular place where there is much more urbanization. Is it clear? So next point we will see this point number 3, trade and commerce. Yes, all the business sector, trade and commerce, where they will get facilities to their trade and commerce, they can get all the things. Only that place the people used to go and they used to reside in that particular area. So trade and commerce means what? Buying and selling. In simple term, we can say the trade and commerce means it's a business sector. It's a buying and selling, isn't it? Or this is what a very in a simple term. So in the place where the people get this kind of ample opportunities, obviously we will go and settle there. So next point we will say that administrative headquarters. So yes, let me write here only. Numerator point number 4. That is what administrative headquarters. Administrative headquarters. So what we understand now these terms? Administrative headquarters means the main center area or center region of a particular district or a particular state. Okay, such as administrative headquarters we can say of Assam, such as Dispur, isn't it? Because Dispur is the capital of Assam. Again, in district wise, if we say for the Jorhat district, the main Jorhat area, it will be the administrative headquarters, because all our administrative sectors, our law and order sectors, we can find all this that courts and all the which maintain the and administrate this DC, the deputy commissioner's office also, where they will maintain all the administrative side of that particular district. Again, if we can take some examples such as administrative headquarters such as of the entire country, such as New Delhi, it is our capital of India, from where all the administrative sides get control from that particular area, and people obviously they will get much more fascination towards these areas. Is it clear? So next point we will say the last but not the least point. That's point number 5. All of you just note it down in your copies. Point number 5. Educational and religious center. Yes, obviously. So students much more get attracted towards the areas where they can find better educational opportunities. Educational and religious centers. Okay. So now most of you are also quite dreaming of that pursuing your further degrees in some kind of reputed educational institutes or centers, isn't it? So these are quite now why you are now dreaming to pursue. Suppose if from Guwahati, that Cotton or Guwahati University, again for better opportunities, I think you will go to Delhi or some abroad also. All this. Why? Because only due to some more and more improved education facilities, the centers which provide human beings much more facilities only, the people used to go to and to that particular area. Again, the religious centers such as we can say our religious pilgrimage sites such as Kashi, then Gaya. Again, we can say that is what Amarnath Yatras, isn't it? So of India, I'm saying again this Makkah and Medina in United Arab Emirates. So these are kind of the religious centers. People are always fascinated to that particular areas. So these are some kind of cultural factors which are quite responsible for the variation of population in region wise. From one region to another region, we find these sort of variations only for these physical factors and the cultural factors. So now we came to the end of this session number 4. So next further discussion we will discuss in our session number 5. Thank you.